What's up, beautiful people? How are you doing today? Greetings from Ukraine. Very cold May, and it's so windy right now, and that is why I'm in touch with the weather and trying to record this video before the rain starts. That is why I will try to shape my thoughts and reflection on the topic briefly but detailed, though. And stay with me. My name is Oksana. I'm a youth worker, civic educator, active citizen, and founder of the NGO based here in Ukraine. And in today's video, I would like to reflect and to share my thoughts on the topic of being active citizen. Why do we need to be such, and how does it contribute to the well-being of our communities, to the countries, and also how does it influence the quality of life in general? And I have my notebook here with me, where I put some thoughts which will guide me through the video. And when I was in the process of making them, a colleague of mine from the NGO, she texted me asking if I know any initiative that can support her idea to do some workshop and some activities to involve young people in her hometown, because the situation is not very good over there in terms of democracy, in terms of the active participation, in terms of, in general, some creativities and so on and so on. And young people, they just literally don't know what to do over there, and there's a brain drain and skill drain and all of that. That is why when I received this message, I was like, wow, this is a sign that I have chosen the topic correctly for today. So what is active citizenship? Where does it come from? It comes from the ancient times. Ancient Greeks practiced that. Of course, the idea of active citizenship at that time, in ancient times, and in today's realities, these are completely different things and completely different approaches. At the time in the ancient Greece, they use it as a method to vote, to participate in the elections. And it was, of course, only for free men, which meant that probably women were not allowed, first of all, and second, what does it mean to be free? It's also a matter of discussion. Anyways, but this current nowadays term of active citizenship appeared and started mainly to be used in the end of the last century, in 1980s and 90s. And in particular, in 1997, the European Commission adopted some documents where the term of being active citizenship started to be a priority, actually, and many educational and youth participation activities were focused and rooted within the idea of being active citizen. And in order to develop active citizenship, because I will explain you why it is beneficial for every community to develop this specific branch of society. Let's say it like this. But the term says that active citizenship is participation in the civic, cultural, and social specters of life within a society, with the aim to improve the society, to promote common well-being for the commonwealth, for the common good, let's say. And it's about not being individual, but it's to be together, because let's be honest, we all live in a society. We are human beings. We like to be in the pride. we are like we are more comfortable to live with someone. Of course, there are exceptions, and there are some and people and communities, they prefer to live outside of the systems, but they are like, okay, I cannot say they are minorities because it will be disrespectful, but what I'm trying to say that they probably also practice some kind of initiatives on their levels. But today we are more speaking about the societies we live in, and we have to build our life within, right? So that is the term. And being active citizen means to be informed, engaged, and proactive. So let's start. Just try to answer to yourself to the following questions. Do you like your neighborhood, um, your community, your village, your city you live in? Why do you like it? Or maybe there are some changes to be applied. What kind of changes would you like to adopt over there? What kind of initiatives, maybe? How do you feel in your community? Do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel included? Do you have this sense of belonging? And all the answers are correct. There is no correct or incorrect answer, actually. It's just like it's a reality, and we reflect, we brainstorm, we are like guiding our mind towards something that can be productive for the community, for ourselves in general. And speaking about changes, well, there are no perfect communities, no perfect villages, no perfect cities. There are always something to be improved. There is always a gap. It's a reality. We are human beings again. We have some cultural backgrounds and psychological and just life. So, speaking about this, covering the gaps. What are the needs of your community, or what are the needs of your neighborhood? And now think about some other place that you really, really like, and it resonates with your mindset, with your values, with your lifestyle. Um, what do they have that your community doesn't? Because that can be an answer, and you can adopt that practices to your lifestyle, to your active participation in your community. Okay. So this is the first answer, actually, to the question, why do we need active citizenship? Because when you will search for some initiatives and maybe rules, maybe some circumstances, some ideas, you will probably find the root of these initiatives in the active participation, in the involvement of the local people to the life of that communities. They take responsibility, they take action, they put efforts, and that is why you can be active citizen, and I can be, everyone can be. um, the most important is to find something that resonates with your mindset, with your hobbies, maybe with your interests, because you have to find the sphere which will make you feel comfortable to act, and you will see results. Because what does motivate us? Of course, good result. When we are happy with something that we achieved, we spent our energy, time, a lot. We put a lot of efforts. That is why we want to see some benefits. We want to see some results, and it's completely fine. Okay. And one more thing, when we ask ourselves, okay, how does it work? Why do we need active citizenship? I will tell you. Um we born as individuals, all of us, and we stay as individuals all our life. But on the community level, we have a role as citizens. What does it mean? We have, as citizens, we have rights and we have wills. So we expect that our states will support us in that. But quite often we miss another very essential thing, that in addition to the rights and wills, we have also roles and responsibilities for our lives. And where state, because quite often we rely on the state. State is a good. State is also has its role in the chain, in the life making, but it's just part. And us as citizens, we are essential part. And actually, we vote, we elect this state to serve us, not vice versa. Okay, that is also very important. And as every community has shared spaces such as parks, pedestrian areas, schools, kindergartens, institutions, hospitals, all of that, we pay taxes in the end in order those spaces to be maintained in a qualitative way, in a fair way, in a transparent way. That is why we have to take care about that. We have to be included in the life processes of that areas. Of course, we want to come to the hospital and treat it very nice. We want to avoid corruption. We want to go to the park and enjoy the view. We want to have clean parks. But what do we do as citizens for that to be maintained? Do we ask the state to report, to check the spendings on the park from our taxes? Do we do some volunteering in order to clean the parks, because quite often there are no resources, especially now in Ukraine. We are in the state of war, so a lot of budget is going to the other needs. That is why volunteering system is very actively developing at the moment, because people still want to have good life, and despite of everything, and it's quite normal, and also to feel alive, to feel useful, to do something, to feel active, to have sense of belonging, because we need a sense of belonging. That is crucial for our well-being, for our mental well-being, to our physical well-being, to our lives in general. And another thing is when we do not respect these spaces, the shared spaces. um, for example, imagine there is a person going on the pedestrian way and just throwing the rubbish on the pavements, because the mindset of this person is like that. Okay, we don't judge anyone. Fair enough. There's responsibilities on that person, but there is also a kid following this person, just going coming back from school, let's say, and this kid sees that that person just thrown away the rubbish on the pavement, and the mindset of this kid will probably shape the reality that it's kind of normal thing. And probably there is a big chance that unfortunately this kid will do the same thing, because this is what we dictate to other people with our own behaviors. That is why we have to take responsibility on ourselves, and to treat others, including shared spaces, the way we want them to treat us. Okay, that is very important, and I hope it makes sense to you. Um, and yeah, so if we want to live in a comfortable community, in an open-minded, democratic society, inclusive society, if we want to feel good, to know that we are heard, and so on and so on, we have to take responsibility. We have to put efforts. Active citizenship is always about taking efforts, putting efforts, excuse me, investing our time and energy into such initiatives, and don't worry, that will be paid off in very very good way, and in long-term perspective, which is also essential, because as people we are, quite often we do this mistake. We think about short-term perspective. So when we take decisions, we're just thinking, what, how can I benefit from it right now or tomorrow? But we don't think about years in front of us. So it's up to everyone to ignore the inner voice in terms of actions, in terms of changes, and whether to take responsibility for our own lives and well-beings and communities, or just to ignore it. And I do hope that you choose second one. You want to take responsibility, or you're already doing that. Maybe you're already super active, and you can also share your experiences. Please drop a comment. I will be super happy to know about that. For those who wants to participate in the proactive life of the society, but doesn't know where to start, I will just share brief insights and simple yet powerful steps, what you can do and how you can find your niche in terms of active citizenship. Okay. Okay. Mm, as I said already, it's a disclaimer, but I will repeat it that um, it needs efforts. And maybe in the beginning, you will feel quite um, mm, not that strong, I would say. I don't want to use verb vulnerable because it's not about that. But sometimes maybe you will be disappointed or you feel lonely in that. Don't worry. I will also give you a guideline how to find your people. Okay, so speaking about finding your people, you can be and perform as active citizen. You can be an active citizen right here and right now. You just can start right now being as individual or performing in a group. Both versions are complementary and powerful. Individually, what you can do individually? Well, you vote, you go to election, you take responsibility for your life, you vote for people who will represent your community, your city, your country. Because remember, our neighborhoods, our cities, our country, it's our own face. It speaks a lot about the mentality and values of the society in general. That is why it's important to go to and then to vote and to give your voice for someone who shares your values. We can leave feedback in different institutions, especially when it applies to municipal institutions, to leave feedback, to demand better quality, to ask for the reports about the financial spendings, and to track the news, and so on and so on, to provide respectful behavior towards others and demand the same behaviors towards yourself, which is also good. For example, in Ukraine, we've got the airports don't operate at the moment for obvious reasons, but we have very good train system. We love them, of course. Of course, there are many things to be improved. It's quite normal, and it's life. But they have very good approach with living. They've got app first of all, and then after each trip, you can leave a comment and a feedback about the services, the quality of services, the timing, the management, and so on and so on. And they pay attention to that, and that became one of the ways to fight the corruption on the places, like on the small levels. And I honestly take it very serious, and after using the train system every time, I leave a comment about my satisfaction or dissatisfaction of their services. And that is also a performance as an active citizen. And of course, you can do that in groups, which is more efficient, faster, stronger, even easier because when the voice of the crowd is heard, it will be heard. It's louder than the voice of one person, and it's much easier to influence officials. That is why we need civic society in every country. And that is why we need NGOs, we need associations, we need working clusters, we need all of that institutions that support and protect our rights on different levels, such as social rights, education, rights for education, working rights, and so on and so on. That is very important and essential. And if you feel that you have capacity to be part of that um, players, let's say the models, just go for that and try your strengths over there. Also, what I would recommend is just taking these simple steps, as I mentioned before, and we start with information. Of course, we need to be acknowledged about certain system, because when we have information, we have and skills, we have power to apply them to change the situation. We know what to do. We know where to find the answers. We know how to act. We know the regulations. We know the rules. We know the political system. Okay, we have to know what are the political systems in our regions, in our communities, in our countries, and it's quite a conversational topic, and many people are skeptical. They don't believe to politics and don't trust to them at all. But when we don't know our political systems, we are, let's say, handless because we don't have knowledge and understanding of what and how can be done in order to improve our life. That is why just try to learn what is the system, what are the most important and most powerful um, mm, regulators in your society. And for example, if you are a fan of environmental studies, such as like me, I always take this example. So then you will know the institutions that can help you or support, or which should provide services in that area. For example, Ministry of Environmental and Ecological Affairs, for example, right? If it's an education, then you go to the education. If it's something in the local area, you go to the municipality, things like that. Then we go with another thing. Being empathetic is a big thing, and it's quite underestimated in terms of active citizenship. It, from one side, it's looks like has nothing to do with being active citizen, with being a promoter in your society, but being empathetic means to take care about your neighbors, also to understand what are their needs, what are the gaps in your street, your society, in your village, and what should be improved in order to build inclusive society, equal society, where everyone stands for everyone, when you're a community, when you're a group, when you're all together. And here we go with the making and building the group, because when em- we have sense of empathy, we have sense of understanding what we are lacking, then we find like-minded people who think the same way as you, who are ready, excuse me, who are ready to take the efforts to call for action, who are ready to invest their time and energy in improvement of the social situation, or some local to solve local problems, and so on and so on. And then you become united, you find your people, like-minded people who share the values, and that is super powerful, because then you feel so strong, so good, and you really believe that that goal that you just put in front of you, it's reachable. Because, well, first of all, other people, maybe someone has other skills that you don't have, or some contacts or degree um, in certain subjects, such as law, for example, which is super helpful when you want to adopt some initiative. You need also to know the laws and regulations on that place, and when someone knows how to do that, that is super. Well, that is efficient. That is you're scaling, you're growing, you're doing things much easier, and you are aiming bigger goals and objectives, and that is super nice. And it's always better to be with someone. I'm a team player. I really love to be with someone uh, rather than alone, because again, when you're alone, there are so many uncertainties, there are so many threats inside of our like mind. There are so many doubts. We're like, it's so easy to stop ourselves because we don't believe that it's possible. But when we are with someone, even on the low moments, which is okay to have them, but when we are like we have doubts, it's okay. We share these doubts with our peers, and they say, "Don't worry, we're gonna do that. We believe in you. We can do that." And then you achieve the goal, and then you this is the moment when you appreciate the power of a team, of a group dynamic. Okay, So meeting your people is super essential, and it's much, again, easier, and it's good for scaling your initiatives and to grow. And as I said, it's much easier and more effective to influence officials, state, which quite often are ignoring the needs of the society. Unfortunately, they might be corrupted as well. Let's say that it's also a truth, and that is why active citizenship is born for, actually, to influence, to contribute to the well-being. And yeah, so last but not least, remember that change can be done and happen through us, not for us. So through us, we do the change and we have this result, and together with our peers and like-minded people, and just in general as a society, we enjoy these fruits of these changes. Okay, what I can say from my experience, once you try, once you find your people, it will be impossible to stop you. Once you try the qualitative life where there is equality, where is the inclusion, where is the space for everyone, where there is a sense of respect, sense of belonging, when people don't judge you, they take take you the way you are, they accept you, they don't try to change you because there's something wrong with you. No, it's okay, we all are different. That is the beauty of the nature. Can you believe, can you imagine that there is no any same person? We are 8 billion people on the planet Earth at the moment, and there is no one like you. And that is something beautiful. So let's create the world also accordingly. We deserve to be happy, we deserve to be mindful, we deserve to live in a good societies, whatever what, especially now in this world surprises me every single day. And I'm living in Ukraine, okay, you know the realities we are living with, but that makes me even more motivated to take actions, to change the life, to have quality of life, quality of life. And yeah, so I have to stop probably because the clouds are approaching, and I've been talking quite a lot today. So far, it's the longest video on my YouTube channel at the moment. That is why I really hope it was insightful for you, and I hope you found something useful for yourself. Okay? And last but not least, let's wait for these people to throw away the rubbish into the bin. This is super nice and super, yeah, it's super nice of them. They use the rubbish bin, despite we are near the lake. There are not so many places and spots where you can organize the garbage. That is why they were here. You probably heard them. What I wanted to say, just to finalize the video, don't blame older generations for some passive behaviors they might express, because especially in these countries like the where I'm coming from, I see the big difference between generations. These young people, they are so active. They give me a hope, that and believe that we are on the right way, while older generations, they are a bit different. They still afraid because they grew up and developed their lives in completely different circumstances, in completely different regimes. They did quite often they didn't have a freedom to speak out. It was dangerous. It was literally a matter of their life and safety, whether to say something loud and to stand for your rights, or just to be quiet. And of course, they didn't have internet. They didn't have YouTube or ChatGPT that could explain them why they have to be active citizens. And we have this priority. We have this privilege. So let's use it. Let's take advantage of that. And yeah, okay, active citizens. I hope it was insightful. And thank you for staying on my channel. and drop me a comment, share your experience, and I hope to see you soon. Ciao, ciao. Rico.